You love listening to On Brand, but watching On Brand?
Nobody's going to want to see me. Will they?
Will they?
Well, if they want to, where would they do that?
They would go over to YouTube, Jon, where all of our new episodes will be uploaded in video format. Okay.
What? You're doing it now? I thought you were going to say where all of the videos will be uploaded in full color.
All right, we'll see you over on YouTube. Bye.
Bye.
Stay tuned. A new episode's about to begin.
They say a lot of things. They say that one man's trash is another man's treasure. They also say don't judge a book by its cover. And we've all heard them say everyone loves a deal. All of these sayings came into play as this brand evolved from the trunk of a family station wagon to the upscale shopping mall staple we all know today. It took the vision of two brothers approaching retail in a completely new way that brought everyone from homemakers taking the subway to limousine-driven socialites to their Manhattan shop. And while it wasn't fancy, for those willing to do a little digging, there was some incredible deals to be found. And while today's incarnation of the brand is almost unrecognizable from where it started, it's still a place that anybody can go and pick up a little something for their home. I guess you could say it's a real rags to dishes story. And that's why this week's On Brand is on Pottery Barn.
We're all jazzed up, nearly having a cow. We want your favorite show, and it's on right now. It's on Brand.
Welcome to On Brand with Jon and Marisa.
Hey, I'm Jon.
Hey, I'm Marisa. Wow.
Okay.
Pottery
Barn.
When we're talking about deals, we're talking about rags. Pottery Barn, I was expecting like a discount, like a Home Goods, like a TJ Maxx.
Let's just say every story has a beginning.
Buckle up. This is going to be good.
We're just going to tell you now, pull over.
The shoulder of the freeway is lined with cars on Thursday morning, and CHP is investigating. We have helicopters overhead. What is going on? I'll tell you. Everybody is listening to Pottery Barn.
The brand effect. I love that. Traffic. It's the brand effect. Everyone pull over. Call in. On Thursdays, you guys should just call in before you head off. There's a good chance it's going to take me an hour to get to work today.
The brand effect, yeah.
2 hours. Yeah, Pottery Barn. So here we go. It's like, this is, I don't feel like I talk about this much. This is definitely a personal brand, was a personal brand favorite. It's not really in my life of brands now, but it's a place I have worked before.
Huge.
It's a place that I, have a lot of affinity for. I have a lot of thoughts about it. I'll save it for the show. And I know you've had some ups and downs with Pottery Barn.
Yes.
I think we have talked on the show before how when you bought this house, you bought a lovely vanity for your bathroom.
A medicine cabinet. Yes.
That, goes in the wall and you open it up and you put stuff in it, right? And then you tried to clean the mirror because mirrors get dirty with Windex.
Windex, yes.
And the whole finish of the frame around it
peeled into oblivion, and it is still it looks like it was found at the bottom of the ocean. It is
and
corroded.
Not in a good way.
Not in a good way.
It's patina. No, it's just turned to garbage. And then you call them and they're like, don't use harsh abrasive. It's like it was made for.
This was a mirror with Windex. They were gentle soap and water only, and it was expensive. It was we got this new house. We used every dime we had. We were trying to fix it up ourselves. We were David installed the medicine cabinet himself. It was probably our one of our biggest purchases. I think it was $300.
Yeah. And
the first time we cleaned it for it to be peeling apart. So Pottery Barn, it's always been in my orbit. It's one of those, it's like a represented adulthood as a child. As soon as you can afford something nice for your house, Pottery Barn is at the top of the list.
Yeah.
I don't feel super close to it now. I don't frequent it often for my home goods. It's also just a little bit out of my price range, but I have gotten the kids had some Sesame Street bedding, Sesame Street quilt and sheet set from Pottery Barn Kids. It was on sale and it's really cute. It looks kind of retro Sesame Street. So sweet. And it's just one of those places that I don't really think about very often unless I'm looking for something very specific. But if I set foot in a Pottery Barn today. And I have within the last year. There's one in Old Town Pasadena. You think you don't care about Pottery Barn. You think you're too cool for it. You walk through those doors and it will become your sole mission in life to acquire a lifestyle that will give you what Pottery Barn is selling. You see the overstuffed pillows. You see the leather armchairs. You see the bookcases. You see the dishes. You see the trivets. You see the little napkin rings. And you're like, I will give up everything to have this.
Yeah, I do feel like and they used to be, I don't think they are anymore, at least I don't get them. I used to always get the catalogs.
Yeah, I think I might still get the catalogs.
And I think I've talked about, I never threw them away because of course I didn't. And then in 2014, I did a big purge and I had probably 20 years of Pottery Barn catalogs and I actually threw them away. And it is one of my life's greatest regrets.
We have to let that go.
No, I think about it every single night because there's just something fun about flipping through like an old, like handheld catalog of like, oh, this is what picture frames like. And Pottery Barn used to be, I found for me, their catalogs were like probably how a lot of people look at fashion magazines. Like I found it very aspirational. Like someday I will have a home that will have like 7 barn chairs around my like wooden dining room table. I'll have it's like the only place that ever made me feel like I had to have napkin rings.
Yes.
I have napkin rings in my stuff at my mom's home from when I worked at Pottery Barn because I was a little sticky finger there.
Someday. Napkin rings are easy to steal.
Very easy to steal. And Pottery Barn, back then, like if something got broken, we would put it away and we were supposed to, it would eventually all go to like charity. But I was like, I'm charity. So like some things I would take out of the charity box.
It's called John's House. We provide wayward boys with napkin
massages
rings.
and napkin rings.
Or another kind of ring, depending on how you use it.
That's off-brand. This is main show. So yeah, so it's like, I don't know. What shocked me the most when I knew I would eventually do Pottery Barn. I've been really kind of willy-nilly with how I'm picking things. I'm kind of picking things lately. So I threw this in and I did just a little bit of research to see if I wanted to go into it. How old do you think Pottery Barn is?
1991.
Right? Like it's like 30 years tops. Pottery Barn this year will celebrate its 76th birthday. Not quite clip-clop times.
But close.
It is 76 years old.
Wow, I am shocked. And I think I've never come across vintage Pottery Barn.
Funny you say that, because when I worked at Pottery Barn and had a different logo, it said Pottery Barn above each other, like stacked. And there was like a box around it with a line between the two words.
That's very of that time.
Yeah, and I can't
that
find that. Like I was looking like vintage Pottery Barn logos the other day, and I'm sure someone will find it and be like, you want an MA and you couldn't find this? I didn't really go deep in it, but like I thought I've grown to really like, since we've been doing like the supplementals, like if I can find them like a history of the logos, because I like to see how they change over time. And they've had this one for quite a while, but
Weird.
I'm not even kidding. The dishes I use currently and the flatware that I use currently, I've used for over 20 years. It's called Pottery Barn Supper Time Dishes. They're super heavy. One of them has a big crack in it. It doesn't affect, my cereal bowl has a crack in it. Milk doesn't leak from it.
Nary a drip, yeah.
Nary
That's
a drip.
the quality you used to get. You used to get that.
I actually got this set of Pottery Barn dishes from Big Lots. At some point, Pottery Barn like closed them out and weren't selling them anymore. And one day I went to Big Lots and they say Pottery Barn on the bottom of it. Bought my whole set of dishes from Pottery Barn. And then
it's not like Pottery Barn.
Potboy Loft. Potboy Loft. I'll get into it, guys. Sorry. I just had to drive from the valley, which I don't normally have to do before
We're
we start.
excited.
Potboy Loft. Instead
of Pottery Barn, it's
Potboy Loft. Potboy. Oh, have you heard? He's a pot boy. I won't be dating him.
Potboy Loft.
Potboy Loft.
Oh, you like my dishes? They're from Potboy Loft.
Before we get into the show, though, let's talk about how stressed I am right now about coupons.
Oh, okay.
Wait, do you have anything that you want to banter about?
No, I just saw you come in with a half gallon of Minute Maid, and I had to say something about it.
Listen, Minute Maid, I don't work for them. Can I just tell you, I have not had a Diet Coke
what?
this week.
You kidding?
All I have had.
When was the last time you've gone a day without a Diet Coke?
I don't know.
I mean,
not
like,
since I was a pot boy living in a loft. I mean, I don't know if I ever have. Probably when I was sick. When I was like bedridden.
Maybe bedridden only.
I have somehow discovered. So sometimes I'll get these. I'm holding this up like I'm in a commercial.
We are on camera now. Episodes streaming on YouTube.
Be sure to check us out and subscribe, like and share.
I think we have 100 subscribers now.
That's not, I mean, we've only been on a week. That's great. And now we have put all of our back catalog on YouTube too. It's not all video, but it's all audio.
If you like listening to podcasts, on YouTube.
Just like staring at our logo.
Sure.
But anyway, so I buy like, I'll experiment with different like zero sugar drinks from the refrigerated section. A lot of them, I don't know what it is in them, give me scratchy throat. I don't know if I'm allergic to an ingredient in them, but a lot of like the zero sugar lemonade or pink lemonades or whatever give me scratchy throat.
What's the sweetener in this? What are we getting?
Oh boy.
Is it stevia? Is it monk fruit? Is it aspartame?
Ooh, less than 2% of grape and pineapple juice.
Oh, this Minute Maid fruit punch. Okay, did I even say it's Minute Maid fruit punch? The Minute Maid fruit punch was my number one drink from ages like 6 to 14. We would get that in the paper carton, the Minute Maid fruit punch. And it was like our family, like this was when you thought that was like healthy, like have like a 12 ounces of juice for a 6-year-old. It was like a serving of juice. I love the Minute Maid fruit punch. Fruit punch, what the hell's going on in there? What's that combo? You got pineapple.
It says there's grape skin extract. I mean, it's like at what point they're like, should we put grape skin in it? I don't know. Just pull some juice out of the grape skin. Just get a little
extract.
Scientists are crazy.
Maybe for color.
But I am on a real roll with this stuff. And the thing is, like, I can drink a bottle pretty, like this, you'll notice this is about the size of this.
Yes,
so
that vessel, that plastic jug, that's for a family.
Well,
it's meant to be in a refrigerator of a family.
I think what we have learned in society is families come in all shapes and sizes. Family of one.
Sometimes a family is just one thirsty pot boy in a loft.
Pot boy in a loft. So yeah, it will pass. I am someone who gets into something and I'll be so into it hardcore for 2 weeks and then bring it up in 2 weeks, I'll be like, I can't.
Yeah, but you're also like weird in like the same way that you weren't planning on quitting Diet Coke, but you could just switch this and then we'd be like, by the way, have you had Diet Coke? And you're like, never had one again. You could go like never had one again.
Let's just say I cannot switch to this over Diet Coke because the amount I'm drinking has become quite cost prohibitive. This bottle's $3. And let's just say I do drink more than one of these bottles in a day.
How many?
More than one.
Wait, how many though?
Never more than 3.
Okay.
But more than one.
John, that is
so...
Wait, what is the actual like ounce? What is it? What size is it?
This, according to them, is 7 servings.
Okay.
3% juice.
Okay, but look at the front. Like, what is the size of the quantity?
5 calories. This whole thing is 35 calories.
Is it a liter?
It's 1.6 quarts.
Okay.
Is that a lot?
3 of them seems like a lot.
I said never more than
3. Are you pissing
3.
like a racehorse?
I mean, everything's working the way it should. Listen, I'm enjoying life.
You might be healthier than ever. I love that. That's fantastic. Okay, Minute Maid aside, coupons, what's going on?
So I got all these restaurants throwing meals at me, and I'm really struggling. So within a week, I now have to have Jersey Mike's, Habit Burger, Goop, and California Fish.
How do I access these coupons? I was at Jersey Mike's yesterday.
Jersey Mike's was just on because I happened to be house sitting in the valley and they just opened a Jersey Mike's right where I'm at. There was a Facebook thing that said, if you're in the area, we're giving buy one, get one free. So last night I got Jersey Mike's buy one, get one free. I had one made dry so I can have it later today because you can't have a wet sandwich the next day.
What's your Jersey Mike's order? Have you updated the listeners on what you get from Jersey Mike's?
I think it's a number 7 is the number. I'm a turkey provolone.
Mike's
I get it Mike's way. No tomato, no onion, no oregano. Add pickle, add mayonnaise.
Nice. Okay. So you got one giant or medium?
Giant. Just because I drink 3 of these, I don't have a giant. Isn't a giant like a party sub?
No, it's like Alistair eats a giant sometimes.
Alistair eats like 4 pounds of oatmeal.
It's like 18 inches. But if you wanted to like buy one, get one free, those end up being like $22.
Yeah, no, I get the.
But you could get if it's a buy one, get one. I mean, you could get those dry. You can munch on those all week.
No, I just get the
You
normal.
could like open up an airport, sell those sandwiches.
I feel like you can get the small at Jersey Mike's and be satisfied.
Yes.
But I get the normal whatever. I think it's
regular.
What's your order?
I like the veggie there, but it really depends on who's making it, because sometimes you are getting 2 inches of cheese, sliced cheese.
Oh, God, that sounds like heaven.
It's a lot. It's a lot. So it's some people, and they'll slice it. I prefer the super thinly sliced. Some people, it's just up to the chef's discretion. And it's the only provolone. My kids like it too. It's the only provolone that my daughter will like. She's a picky eater, so I'm always struggling to find things that like. And Jersey Mike's is what we've locked in. Like, we love Jersey Mike's. It's one thing. I think it really is the one thing that every single member of the family eats with glee. Salt and vinegar chips. We got Doritos. We're having a ball. I asked them if I could buy provolone, like if they'll sell it to me. Like,
you asked them where you could,
like it's Jersey Mike's brand provolone. So it's, but I said, like, can I just buy a bunch of provolone from you guys?
what?
I want like what you would get in a deli pack of provolone would be like 10 slices.
You can buy sliced provolone.
I know, but they don't like it. They don't only like Jersey Mike's provolone.
Do you know why? Because I think it's a little blander.
Yes.
I got provolone at Trader Joe's, and it is like, it's
funky.
It's funky. I like
Not
it,
in a bad
though.
way, but it's like aged.
strong.
It has strong flavor, and that's the same thing. They got one whiff of that Trader Joe's provolone, and they were like, "This is not provolone.
Yeah.
It has like a cheese smell to it."
Yeah.
The provolone at Jersey Mike's, it's probably like candle wax. It has like the same texture. It's very dry. It's very like low moisture and very like bland. And they wouldn't sell it to me. They said I can only get like a side of provolone would be like. It would be like $4 for like 3 slices. So again, cost prohibitive. I'm in the same Minute Maid situation you're in.
We all get ourselves in these little pickles.
We are.
It is fun when you like try to like, and when you can, I'm trying to think if I've ever accomplished it. I'm sure I have. When you're able to score something like that. Something
I feel like if I went in I'm going to try every time I go in, because I know the 2 girls that were there. I'm like, I'm going to try, and if it's like.
You know the 2 girls
Well,
that were
like
there.
I see them there all the time, but I want to try with a different employee, because there's one guy, he's like kind of like he looks like a little stonery. He had a Band-Aid on his face.
Pot boy.
He was a pot boy loft. And I feel like I could get him to be like, I'll give you some. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll flirt.
Yeah, you got to find like the weak link flirt. Hey, you. Oh my
What's
God,
a
have you
gal
been
got to
working
do to
out?
get some provolone around here?
Like when you go in, you said you have people that you like that make your sandwich
Yes.
away. Like if they're not available, but you can see they may come around in the cycle, will you like back off? Like if you're about to get Liz and you're like, oh God, Liz hasn't put enough this on
That
it.
I pretend like, and I go, you know what, you go ahead, I'm still deciding. Like
Yeah.
to the person who's there, yeah, I would do that. Do you do that as well?
I would definitely do that
You're
too.
probably that. I imagine that comes up at like Blaze Pizza, where you have a really specific rule about your cheese.
100%. Like I'll be watching them make it. I'm like, she's sauce heavy.
Yeah.
I definitely want the sauce
You know
heavy.
where I've been noticing that? And by the way, I'm back on Chipotle. I had a fantastic Chipotle bowl.
Back on Chipotle. Chipotle I thought was done.
No.
Everyone gripes
And
about
Alistair
it.
tried to spread a rumor that Chipotle was closing privately to you and me. Al was like, yeah, Chipotle is going out of business. We were like, wait, it is? And we like Googled it. It was like total false information.
Because he sees one thing. These are people that are like, did you see this? And this is why research is
you
important.
gotta research. Chipotle is back, but I will notice there, I'll see some of the workers, it's like, the scoops really vary at Chipotle.
And I've been told never mobile order at Chipotle. It is guaranteed to be tiny
Stingy?
portions. Yes.
That was interesting, because my last order was a mobile order, and I feel like it was a little on the small side.
I haven't been in so long because the last 2 or 3 times I went, I would go in, there would be either no one there or 1 or 2 people there, but the place was wrecked. It was like no one's wiping down anything. There's like
That's a
food's
bummer.
crossing over into different containers. And I'm not like a snob, but it just looked gross.
It
And
didn't used to be like that,
It
too.
never
like
used to
Chipotle
be
was
like that.
there's some places you go and you're like, I expect it to be a little rough, but like Chipotle was always like a higher. It's higher end. I mean, it's not cheap.
They
They're
have
talking. You
those,
can't
like-
talk about organic whatever if you have like garbage
Yeah.
on the floor.
Yeah. It all started when they started to have, they had a couple of illnesses, I think, from like
from their lettuce or whatever.
lettuce or lemons or something. Then they
Yeah.
started to bag lemons, and then they fired the guy who started it. And then I also think it's once they got the queso, because the queso always has a skin, and nothing looks good with a skin on it. Wait,
Nothing, John,
nothing?
you're on the record. Nothing looks good with the skin on.
Well, foods like chicken better with the skin off.
Okay, you're not speaking of anything else that might have come with a little extra skin?
Main show. This is the main show. This is the Pottery Barn show. Should we get into it?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Let's get into...
Take me on the ride. We're not clip-clopping, but we are in an old-ass car.
That is true. We're going to be in a station wagon.
Great.
All right, so we can't talk about Pottery Barn without talking about Paul and Morris Secon. Paul was born July 13th, 1916.
Oh, my God.
4 years after the sinking of Titanic.
Wow.
His brother was born October 22. Oh, my God, I'm getting choked up already. His brother was born October 22, 1923.
Okay.
Nice Jewish family in Philadelphia. Their parents were Russian immigrants. And both of them are very musically gifted. Paul played the trumpet, the piano, the oboe, the flute. Did you ever play an instrument in school?
Trumpet, but too hard.
Okay, see, I played trumpet and got kicked out, and they said it was because my lips were too big. And I want to say it's because I never practiced. So then they're like, you need an instrument for a man with larger lips. And they gave me the trombone.
Oh.
Try being fifth grade. It's like carrying a dead body around school.
Can't imagine.
The case was so long and hard. And it's like, oh, you have a spit valve. I think you had that with the trumpet,
You had
too.
that with the trumpet, too. I'll never forget the brassy smell of the spit valve.
Oh, God, that
brassy
smell.
Spit.
I bet that's
also,
probably...
it feels like illegal to comment on the size of a child's lips.
You know what?
I think you could get fired over that now.
It was a different time.
Sure.
John, we need to tell you something. No, it wasn't even like they're comforting. Like, your lips are too big. You're now on trombone.
Yeah, it's not, the brass instruments. I think elementary school is not the right time to introduce those. There's a lot going on. Also, it was like rented, so I'm thinking about just all the lips who were on this trumpet before me that I'm sure just got like a wipe with a dry cloth from the man at the trumpet rental store.
It's like that comes with just a tiny little square of like those little. Now we get like microfiber cloths.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
To clean your whole
bow.
Your whole brass bone.
Terrible.
No, I did not last long. Give me a triangle. I mean, or a recorder.
Ooh,
those stupid recorders.
I wanted the trumpet because it only had 3 buttons. And as a kid, I was like, I could work it out. I'm looking at those. I'm like, oh, that's a lot of buttons. I'm like, 3. Okay, 3 I can do. Hot cross buns. Hot cross buns. Little 8-year-old me, like, how many buttons that one got? 3? Okay.
Stop going. They're not buttons.
They're buttons. They're little buttons. I don't know what they're called.
You must have
valves.
Yeah, I think that is what they have. You must have
buttons.
died when you saw an oboe. Doesn't an oboe have like 100 buttons, like in a circle?
I ain't touching an oboe with a 10-foot pole. Too many buttons.
You know what doesn't have any buttons?
What?
Trombone. Wait, do they? I think they just have a slide. No, maybe they do have...
No, buttons and a slide.
I'll have to Google it
That
after
is
the
tough.
show.
It's just, it's hell. Like, who wants to hear this?
I don't know. So Paul played all these instruments. He would eventually leave home. He became a writer and a musician. He was a critic for the Boston Evening Transcript and became a music editor for Billboard and Variety magazines. And wrote a song for Nat King Cole, which he didn't seem to care about because he was like, oh, I'm tired of writing songs I don't care about. But Nat King Cole.
Isn't that so funny? Like, for some people, that would be the pinnacle of their entire career. That would be their legacy. It'd be like on their headstone. And this guy's like, nah, big deal, moving on.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
What's
I
next?
kind of relate to that because I feel that way about the Emmy. People are like, oh my God,
right.
if I won an Emmy, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, who cares? I'm not an EGOT. His brother Morris was also a big musician. He became a principal hornist. I didn't know that was a word, but I've seen it now many
I've
times.
been a principal hornist a time or 2.
Would you like to talk about it?
No.
Everyone starts getting... Like, people are like, have their foot on their gas. Like, should I just start driving again? They don't know. Are we still supposed to be...
Why are they talking about trumpets so much in this episode?
And Jersey Mike's.
It's not Jersey. Oh, and Jersey Mike's. I thought you thought we were doing a Jersey Mike's episode. No. Which, by the way, dibs.
Have it. That's yours. I love it when you want ones that I don't. So he became a principal hornist for the Rochester Philharmonic and a teacher at the Eastman School of Music.
Wow. Well, and it's not enough. He has big dreams.
We'll see. So it's 1949.
Okay. A year after my mom was born.
Okay. A couple decades after Clip Clops.
So Bobo is 1.
Bobo is 1 year old. Mm-hmm. And one day, Morris's wife, June, comes home and she's been shopping at a yard sale in Rochester where she had purchased a dozen-ish pieces of stoneware from a well-known designer named Glidden Parker. A couple of quick side notes. If you don't know what stoneware was, it was very popular at the time. It was, and like when the clay was fired, the pieces would look like they had like a rock-like surface.
Yes, yes.
And then very mid-century.
For sure.
And the pieces were by Glidden Parker, as I said. And if you're wondering, he was hot.
Oh.
So I have a picture. I'll put it in the supplementals. He literally looks like...
This is really exciting.
We haven't had a hottie in a while.
We haven't.
Tell me this is not the perfect description. He looks like Elvis Presley mashed with a Roman statue.
Oh my God.
Look at this guy.
Oh, wow.
Like, do you see those two things?
I do.
Like, it's those two, those lips and that pose, but a little Elvis.
It's very, very Elvis as the Statue of David.
Yeah. I literally, if you look at my search history, I was like, is this Statue of David? Like, I looked up, is that what it looks like?
He's gorgeous.
He's gorgeous. We love him.
Now you're gonna might have to stay pulled over for a little while. Google that.
Definitely. Now this is why YouTube comes in handy, because if you're if you're watching on YouTube,
Oh, we could pop in a photo.
you can. Well, I just held it up.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so now I want to do like a quick side brand of just Glidden Parker. So this guy founded Glidden Pottery in 1940. He was a graduate student at the New York State College of Ceramics in Alfred, New York, and he made stoneware using, at the time, what was considered very cutting-edge technology. He used a ram press,
Okay, been there.
and slip cast. I didn't know what either of these things were until this morning. I looked them up. A ram press presses clay into molded shapes, and slip cast, you basically pour liquid clay into a mold.
Cool.
So that's how he would make his pieces. That seems like a no-brainer now, but I guess in 1949, I was like, wow, that's
Hot
very
potter too.
Hot potter.
This guy can do whatever he wants with his life.
I used to, when I first got TikTok, I followed a hot potter. He was just like a shirtless guy at like a pottery thing.
At the wheel?
At the wheel. Oh my God.
Hot potter at the wheel.
What happened to him?
Ooh, getting steamy in here.
So he's using these tools, and when he first started, I find it weird the way they described it. He said he started out making designs intended for floral arrangements, which to me is a vase. Like, I don't know why they don't just say, in his early career, he made vases.
If you're that hot, you can pretend like you're inventing the vase, and people will be like, wow, that's a really good idea. Like a pottery to put flowers in. I've never heard of that before.
I don't know. I mean, could I have some water? Could I have some Minute Maid? Do you have any Minute Maid zero sugar fruit punch? He definitely seems like the kind of person, instead of calling it a vase, he'd call it a vessel.
Oh. Definitely a vessel. You're
definitely a vessel.
Yeah.
And then he moved on to making serving pieces. In 1940, he only had one or two people working with him, and they would make about 3,000 pieces a year. Within 2 years, he had 8 to 10 people working for him, and he became established in the national gift market scene. So his stuff is really getting out there. By 1944, he's only 4 years into this. He's making 150,000 pieces of pottery a year.
Oh my God.
And 2 years later, he's making 6,000 pieces a week.
Crazy.
And his stuff is it is affordable, but it's also sold in very upscale department stores. It's at Bloomingdale's and Marshall Field's. And Gliddenware becomes kind of an integral part of Americana. And what's fun, and why I kind of wanted to go into him for a second, was his pieces started to be seen on television shows. It was in Perry Mason, a show called Make Room for Daddy, which I'm not familiar with, but definitely on putting it in my queue. And I Love Lucy. There's a scene where Lucy's putting her cigarette out in a Glidden pottery egg server from 1951.
Wow.
And I also want to talk to him because you started to see his pottery in ads too for other big brands like Campbell Soup and Hormel Chili. They would use his pottery to display their foods.
A big bowl of chili.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he was kind of, that's why I wanted to talk about him, because he's someone I wasn't aware of. I'm sure if you're in the pottery world or that's your thing, you know who he is.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like it's a name most people know. So
well, and that's interesting, marketing, just what that says about the time. Imagine watching an ad for chili and being like, wow, who makes that bowl? I'm so intrigued by that. It's nothing I've ever seen before.
Yeah.
That's
I wonder
really cool.
if he gets all excited that's going to be on I Love Lucy, and then she just putting a cigarette out in it.
I'm sure he thought it was cool.
So you would think with this kind of acclaim and stuff that the pieces would be really expensive. So Morris is like, oh, June, how much did you spend on this stuff? She's like,
Lucy,
how much was it? She's like, oh, these I paid less than $1 a piece.
What?
He's like, what? How can these gorgeous pieces be less than $1? That's about $13 today.
Wow.
So Morris calls up Glidden and is like, hey, how are you selling these pieces for so cheap? And what he learns is that Glidden has thousands and thousands of pieces of pottery in these barns. He's got platters and plates and pitchers and cups and saucers, but they've all got it. They don't get there yet. Don't get there yet. They've all got.
You said barn.
They don't get there. We're gonna get there.
Okay. I'm excited. Okay.
I was like, if I say it fast enough, maybe she won't pick up on it.
Okay.
So he's got all these pieces of pottery.
Okay.
And the thing about him is they're all slightly flawed in a way that would prevent him from being able to sell them to his scale retailers.
Yes.
They might have a little chip in them, or maybe the glaze, if there's glaze, I don't know if these pieces were glazed, but if the glaze wasn't perfect, in the industry, and I've bought some of these, they're called seconds. They're like very close to being perfect, but someone with a discerning eye would know that they aren't, so they just can't pay a lot for them. So he's just been throwing them to the side and has for years. So he's a lot of these things. So
we're getting close to the origin of the brand.
So Morris thinks about it, and he has what we like to call an aha moment. He's like, maybe I could buy the pottery super cheap and let everyone know that it has these imperfections, sell it below retail, but still at a profit, and make some money from this stuff. So basically, he's looking for, the term wasn't coined yet, but a side hustle. He's not necessarily looking to go all in on this, but he's like, I feel like I could make some money. He feels it would be a win-win for everybody. Mr. Parker's saying he wants to clear out all this stock. He doesn't really want to have it. Morris could make some money. Shoppers would get a name brand piece of pottery. Might have a little flaws, but everyone kind of gets something out of it. So he buys some pieces and he starts testing it out. He brings some home. He sells them to his neighbors and to his orchestra friends. On days that he doesn't have a concert, he would drive back up to Parker's place and restock. His house started to have boxes and boxes of this pottery. In the summer, he would hit the road and start selling it out of his trunk. He found a lot of success going to bungalow colonies, camps, and hotels. I did not know what a bungalow colony is.
Bungalow colony.
Do you know what that is?
No.
I had to look that up.
I really like those combination of words, though.
A bungalow colony is apparently is a cluster of small rental summer homes, typically in the Catskill Mountains, and they were like communal vacation setting for middle-class Jewish families, and they were more affordable and more communal than it was like an alternative to traditional hotels.
Wow, great.
So the first one he goes to, he just lays out 500 pieces of this stoneware out on the lawn, and he said it was kind of like putting a suite out and were a bunch of ants. He didn't advertise or anything, but everyone started to hear about it because it's a communal living.
The murmurs,
the whispers.
Wow.
What? There's cracked pottery for sale out in my yard. Let's go check it out. Everyone goes out and looks at it. He ends up selling 70% of it and making $500, which I was like, $500 isn't that much, but it translates to about $6,700. So
not bad for like a day,
a weekend, or whatever, however long he was there.
That's great.
Pretty good. So he calls his brother Paul up, who's currently unemployed in New York, and tells him what he's been doing. And he said that, he's seen enough success. He thinks they might be able to turn this into a business. And Paul's like, I'm not working. I'm a little disenchanted. I'm writing stupid songs for Nat King Cole. Who gives a crap about that guy? So he's like, you know what?
I'm ready to finally do something with my life.
Sell cracked pottery? Yes, please. I'm all in. So he is like, let's do it. So that summer, they make a proposition to Glenn to just buy everything that he has. And he's like, you know what? I've been paying rent on storing them. So, you know what? I wouldn't mind getting rid of them. I personally don't know how many pieces are in there, but I could sell them to you. Let's just say $2,500 for everything. And Morris is like, bro, I want them so bad. I'm living on a hornist salary. I can't afford that. Meet me at 2,000. Glenn's like, you know what? Just to be done with it, let's do it. So they buy it off for $2,000. That's about $26,000 today. So it's not nothing.
Yeah, that's significant. But, this is his entire inventory. Okay.
They get a lot of pieces. So they now have thousands of pieces of pottery. And they just need a place to sell it. So luckily, their dad, Max, comes into the picture. He helps them get a lease on a very small, very narrow, leaky space on 10th Avenue between 18th and 19th Street in New York City. And it's like a modest part of Manhattan. And the space is only 12 feet wide, which is like two of me.
Oh my gosh. This is like the storage unit.
I wish my storage unit. Actually, mine.
I don't know. 12 feet deep?
I think mine's like 6 by 15. So 12 feet wide, two of me by 110 feet long. That's 18 me.
That is it's like really weird shape.
Yeah. And New York, very small.
Yeah.
The rent, guess how much the rent is?
Oh gosh. I don't know.
$35. $35 a month.
I love that about the past. Like rent being under $100 is really fun.
In New York.
New York. That's really fun.
Paul would joke that you couldn't even see the store because there was always 4 garbage cans out front that completely blocked it.
Of course.
Now, they've got product. And they've got a place.
Yes.
All they need now is a name. They wanted to, luckily, keep it very simple. So what did they buy? Pottery. Where did they get it? A barn. Let's call it Pottery Barn. The Pottery Barn.
Yes!
And the family would just refer to it as the barn, which I love. So they just called it the barn. But
Hot Boy Loft.
Hot Boy Loft. So Pottery Barn is born.
Wow. This is huge. Such a good name.
Such a good name.
So literal. I've never once thought about the origin of that. I've never thought about like pottery. It's like pottery is such a small part of what they do. I've never once thought barn, where did the barn come from? I assumed it was some kind of like marketing mumbo jumbo, so much so that I didn't even give it a second thought that it might have had a very like literal specific origin. This is gorgeous. This is what we live for. This is the good stuff.
I know. I was really excited when I started looking into this. I started to think more and more about these brands that I kind of feel like I know, but realize that I know nothing about them. And
even like working there, you don't have to like learn the history. If I had a store, I would make all the employees sit down, watch a presentation about the origin of the brand.
Well, we'll get to that. What I am teaching you today no longer exists in canon. Most of my research for this show are from 1940s and 50s newspapers.
Are you kidding?
No, I've been like deep in newspaper
research. Were you on the
research.
microfiche?
I mean,
the digital microfiche.
Newspapers.com microfiche. But yeah, like, because we'll get to it. It's like this. Wow. This took some.
This is like breaking news. This is journalism. You're going to get a Pulitzer for this.
I just want to be an EGOT.
You're going to be like an EEP. An app.
And he got. So Morris would spend the next couple of months driving back and forth from Rochester to New York in his station wagon, stuffed with ceramics so he could restock the store. Sometimes he would make the trip 3 times a week.
Wow.
And the store is not fancy. It is literally giving me Aldi vibes because in the beginning there were no racks, there were no shelves.
Wow.
Everything is stacked either in or stacked on crates. Customers would dig through the crates and packing material, searching for the perfectly priced, imperfect item.
That's an effective tactic sometimes. The treasure hunt model can be very effective.
It is now, but you also still have to put yourself in 1950 because
we had Bloomingdale's and like department stores.
Like I feel like
true.
that's still the age of like when I'll say a woman. I'm not being that's not saying, but like when a woman would go to a department store, they're getting all their items are put in boxes, and it's like everything's very like
they're being guided by hand by like an employee. Like you would go into a department store, you would say what you were looking for, and they would like find things for it. That was like what the expectation of what that job would be.
Yeah. So now you're like going past garbage cans into a narrow little hallway and digging through boxes.
You're on your hands and knees, hunched over a pile of pots.
Yeah. Looking for a napkin ring or some kind of ring.
That is interesting. That's different.
Yeah. It said that there was even like sawdust on the floor. And like if you bought something, they would just wrap it up in like day old newspapers or whatever they ever had lying around. It was just a really down and dirty operation.
Cool.
Paul would say of the store, there was just one aisle down the center, like a part in the hair. I never thought in those days about building a business. I was just having fun. But it proved to be really popular. And it turns out that people of all demographics like to save money for something that's well-designed, even if it might have some flaws in it. And that led Paul to seek out other vendors who had backstock and seconds that they could sell. And then they would start carrying earthenware and china and glass items made by other well-known manufacturers from around.
So up until that point, it was only this one designer.
It was just that pottery.
Wow.
And then they started, Paul started to really kind of own this idea.
Yeah.
And he would go out and make contracts and get other vendors.
It was kind of like an outlet store for that other guy.
Oh my God. They are credited in the retail space for creating the concept of outlet stores.
Oh, wow.
Because of this.
This is wild.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Good on you.
Well,
Good
thank
on
you.
you.
We're
I
listening.
Love this. We're learning. We're teaching. We're having Minute Maid, zero sugar, fruit punch. Be sure to have 2 bottles today.
Is that number 1 bottle today? It's only $11.40.
This is number 1 bottle today. All right, so after they've been open for a year, they get a write-up in the New Yorker and other newspapers start to write about them. So this is from the Honolulu Star Advisor. I'm just going to read it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it really puts you in the moment.
Right.
It's better than I could write it. It's a little long. Maybe we'll clippity-clip. Maybe we won't. This is from October 31st, 1952. Paul Secon, who runs one of the most unusual household accessory shops in the nation, has found that the mink-coated woman who can afford a Ming vase is just as bargain-minded as the one who buys household fittings on an installment plan. Secon operates what ought to go down in history as one of the junkiest-looking shops in the country. However, behind the trash cans, which line the sidewalk in front of the grimy window, there is a gold mine of fine pottery, glassware, and china for the woman who likes good things in her home.
Okay.
The place is called the Pottery Barn, and it's in the warehouse area of Manhattan's Lower West Side, between a trucking company and a butcher shop. Inside are some of the best buys available in imported and domestic wares. The customers who find their way to the run-down shop ask the successful Secon why he doesn't move to a classier location, and he replies, "If I did, I would have to put classier price tags." The place is dismal, but after a while, the stuff gets a hold of the customers. I mean, just put you right there.
Give me a time machine and send me to New York City.
Give me a world where this is what's news. Like, this is what I'm reading the paper. I'm seeing who won the game. I'm seeing did we land on the moon yet?
We have 2,000 words on a pottery shop that is like making waves by how junky it is.
The poor and the rich are dancing together.
They're rubbing elbows. Wow. I would love to be hunched over a pile of pottery in this place. This sounds so fun.
I know. And apparently after the New Yorker's article came out, the next morning, limousines were lined down the streets.
Course.
Like, how amazing is that? Around this same time, Morris opened a satellite store in Rochester. It was called Secon Pottery Barn. Not Second, but like his last name is Secon. Secon Pottery Barn. Its nickname was the Little Ceramic Shop, but the offshoot would only last about a year, and then he would shut it down. And then he's like, you know what? I kind of want to refocus back on music. So Morris kind of like, he dips a little bit. I'm sure he's still involved, but he goes to teaching at the
Sun goes down, a little toot toot, sun comes up, back at the shop.
Yeah, I love that. A little toot toot, sun comes up, back in the shop. So meanwhile, back in Manhattan, Paul has really become the driving force of Pottery Barn. And this is some of the stuff that I found. This is why I love newspaper research. I would have never known these things had I not traveled back in time via newspapers. So he's doing a couple of very interesting things with the store. One, he'll find like artists that he really likes, buy a dozen pieces of their pottery and have exhibits, almost like a museum. So
cool.
He's like putting pottery out, like the New York Times will come, they'll write up an article about it. It's like kind of like an event. And then in 1955, in October, he started this whole series of lectures, and they were called The Customer Wants to Know. And he basically just, like, he realized that people would have so many questions about these things, like where does it come from, how's it made? made.
Sure.
So he has like designers come and museum officials and like factory representatives and importers and all these people to like give lectures. He had like a representative from Herman Miller's furniture company come and like show a film about stainless steel furniture. It was super exciting at the time. He had people come in and like literally demonstrate how to make pottery. Like they would bring like a potter, like a wheel.
Fun.
And I saw pictures of it. It's literally like just a whole room of people like just like there to ask questions about this stuff because it's like
this is what people had to do before computers.
I know.
You had to leave your house if you wanted to learn how a pot was made. You
I
couldn't
know.
just clickety-clack on your keyboard to get the answer beamed right to you.
you don't even have to use that anymore. Just use your phone. You can't just be like, hey Siri.
What is pot?
Hey Siri. How is pottery made?
Oh.
God, I hate her so much. I hate it. God, I want to go to that lecture.
I mean, people, that was truly a better time. Like you're socializing. It's like a space where creatives are coming together. You're making new friends. You're falling in love. I mean, New York, it's just everything about it just sounds like a dream.
$35 rent for a store. I mean, we could have had a store. We could have had a store. Yeah, so everyone's loving it, and they're growing. He realized he needs more space. He gets another shop kind of down the street on 10th Avenue and like rents out like half of the ground floor. And something I read that I thought was fun, Paul would play classical music because that's what he really loved.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes if the mood struck him just right, he would like have a quiz in the store. And if someone could guess what the aria was, he would give them like a free piece of pottery or silverware, a casserole dish or something like that.
That's so cute.
I know. It was great. And customers really couldn't get enough. Apparently, by the Christmas season, the store becomes so successful that customers had to wait upstairs out of the cold with a number until their number was called because they were worried about them stampeding the main floor.
Oh my gosh.
I know. It's insane. I found a quote from a customer from the time who said, "If that wasn't a marvelous place, it was unfinished with rough textures and wooden scaffolding. There was nothing romantic about it. The only romance was in the beauty of the stuff they sold." So like, and this was someone who was, that quote was probably from the 80s, but they're like reflecting back on like, just remembering like how cool it was.
Oh, sounds so cool.
I know. So Paul starts expanding his line of imports. He starts touring Europe and finding factories that would manufacture items according to his designs and specifications. So now he's getting involved in like creating things itself instead of just taking like leftovers from people. They started to have new store designs. Some stores that weren't big enough, they would have like a rug or a piece of furniture as a sample, and then people could order it, and then that would get either shipped to them or the store or whatever. Kind of like how they do it now. It's like you don't...
There's a floor model, but then, which I always found really annoying because I'm so impatient that like if it's like I woke up, I decided I needed a new dresser. It's like I want it in my home by 3 p.m.
I know.
And it's like, oh, you're going to wait 6 to 8 weeks. It's like, I don't know that I'm still going to want it then. I want it today.
I know. I read a review of someone, because I was looking at Pottery Barn reviews, and someone was like, do not order custom-made curtains from Pottery Barn. She's like, I ordered them in the fall. It's now May. It was like this month. She's like, I'm still waiting on some of them. They're now saying I'll get them in July. It'll be like 10 months later for it to have curtains.
That is crazy.
It's like I would
Especially
just go
now.
to IKEA. I remember once my friend Liz, I went to St. John's or something, but their whole thing was they made dupes of like Restoration and Pottery Barn and Crate and Barrel. So you could go buy what looked like a Pottery Barn couch for half the price.
That's great.
And I went, my first like big couch purchase was from there. But when I went, she basically, I forget how she phrased it, and Liz she'll back me up on this. She basically made me feel like they weren't going to put the cows down until I chose the couch. Like once I said, like, I think this is the one I want. Like it's like she's gonna pick up a walkie-talkie.
You heard a distant moo.
Yeah, like she like walkies Italy, and she's like, okay, kill 4 cows. He picked like the 3 cushion couch.
Oh my gosh,
Very
that's
upsetting.
wild.
Yeah.
How fast did it take to get it, or how long?
You know what couch that was?
What?
Sofa cloth.
The one that you skinned?
The one that I skinned.
Oh wow!
See how important that leather is?
I can see why that leather was too. I mean, people who didn't listen to the episode are like, "What the hell?"
You'll have to go back and find it. I don't know what episode it is. Long story short, basically, I threw away my couch and then realized I could use the leather for something. So went outside and cut all the leather of it off and kept it in a pile.
So if somebody because that is a common thing in LA, if you're getting rid of furniture, you leave it on the curb, somebody will come and take it. But Jon is like, you know what? Sure, somebody might want this couch maybe for their first apartment. They're on a budget. I need the leather more.
I really did think I would make like a satchel or something out of it.
Yeah, you skinned it like a buffalo.
It looked a couch looks really sad, skinned on the side of the road.
The skeleton.
Then I had to call
Yikes.
like large garbage pickup and have them come in. It became a whole thing. All right. So as the company becomes more successful, Paul starts to feel a little discontented with it. He described it as having this gnawing feeling like discovering you've married the wrong woman.
Oh, no.
I think he's like kind of has those musical strings, if you will. Like
That's a feeling men get sometimes, a gnawing feeling like they've married the wrong woman.
Every man I know feels that way. I know David feels that way.
Sometimes I'll walk in the room and he's just like staring out the window, not looking at anything in particular.
What are you thinking about, honey?
And I go, huh? Oh, nothing. He takes a deep sigh like that. Interesting. I'll have to be on Gnaw Watch.
Yeah. Gnaw Watch. That's a good one.
Gnaw Watch 25.
I think he also, for Paul, thought that like he felt like people were now coming in mostly for the money, like because it's cheap, instead of like realizing that
Like
it's
the love of the pot.
like the love of the pot. Like
Yeah.
he started to have a love of the pot.
Yeah.
Loves that you can get it cheap, but then other people, it's like, what's $1?
Like bargain hunters or like,
Me.
yeah, you.
Okay,
You said it first.
I can say it. So he reaches out to Morris and is like, hey, would you mind managing the store? And Morris is like, you know what?
I'm
Sure.
sick of these coupon queens coming
Yeah.
in trying to get three for
buy
one.
one, get one free
Yeah.
ashtrays. So Morris agrees. And then after he comes to manage the store, 3 days later, Paul's like, you know what? I think I'm going to go to Europe and look for some new products. And Morris, like, he loved his brother. He didn't really question anything about him because he had built this into like a pretty cool thing. He was always impressed with how Paul could find great things for the store and get contracts with the companies. So he's like, sure, go ahead and do what you need to do. The thing was, Paul started buying things faster than they could actually sell them. They started to have financial problems. Vendors started to threaten, like, cutting off their contracts with them. Some of them actually did.
Yikes.
And Morris describes this whole time period as a nightmare.
Oh.
He said for him to run the store was kind of like throwing a 6-month-old baby into a pool and hoping it learns how to swim.
Oh, scary.
I know. I mean, that's dark imagery. But he's a tortured musician.
Sure.
Paul would say, I was never aware of what the hell I was doing. I was just buying the things I found most beautiful in the world. And they both kind of described it as they were really just playing store.
Yeah.
They were like musicians. They were not born to like, we are going to
Business people.
be a pottery
Sure.
business.
And I think that's reflected in what they wanted to do. What excited them most was like the education and the community engagement and kind of the
Beautiful
gathering of
things.
people together and
Yeah.
appreciating the beautiful things. He wasn't in it to be like, just move as much inventory as possible.
Yeah. And they were definitely not getting rich off of this place. So at this point, Paul decides that he now wants to go back to music and he offers to sell the store to Morris. Morris takes out a loan and he has the understanding that there'll probably be a couple $1,000s of debt, you know, that he's going to be acquiring with this. Well, it turned out that debt ended up being $75,000.
Oh, my goodness.
Which is like $17 million.
That's quite a bit.
It's quite a bit. So he has to start taking music gigs as another side hustle to make extra money, to try to pay this down. He would take these gigs and not even have really time to like rehearse for them. So he talks about how he would have to like rehearse playing in the back of like taxi cabs on the way to like the gig that he took. So
That's a fun scene in
picked,
the movie.
Exactly. I think it's super fun. So, you know, he's really just hustling. And they had built it up to 7 stores. There's now 7 Pottery Barns.
Wow.
But in 1968, he was very torn, but he decided that he's also just going to put it behind him and go back to music. And he accepts a job with the Israel Philharmonic Orchestra and sells the barn, which at this point, the entire family is calling the Poverty Barn.
Rude.
They don't make money from it.
That's mean.
The Poverty Barn. Ironically, in a Simpsons episode, there's a Simpsons episode where Homer and Lisa are at the mall and they're walking by stores and they also call it the Poverty Barn in the same font and it's clearly
That is interesting.
Pottery Barn.
Wow. How the tides have turned.
Yeah.
That's
I know.
interesting.
So he sells it to a guy named Hoyt Chapin and Tony Brush, and their whole idea is to expand it. They take it from 7 stores to 13 stores.
Okay.
And then they're like, you know what? Let's sell it. Who do they sell it to? The Gap. Our number 1 episode of on brand.
Whoa.
The Gap is like, you know what? We wouldn't mind being in the home goods space because all these brands want to have large portfolios.
Interesting.
So and I gotta say, I love the Gap. They've tried so many things. Like even in their own stores, like I know I've talked about like the Gap Clearance Center, but like you always like Gap was always like, or used to like, you would find like, you know, now we sell like wool blankets or like we sell candles too, or like they would dabble in the home space.
They dabble. And I will say, I'm hearing this all over. Gap is back.
Oh, Gap is hardcore.
Gap is hard back. And
Thanks, Zach Posen.
I'm hearing a lot of people say Old Navy is back.
Yeah.
If you can put in the right shipping address, you will be really happy with what you get from Old Navy.
How would you know if they're back? Like whenever they send you, like they sent you a postcard that says we're back to that lady. Yeah. You have to like go over to her house. Hey, listen,
have you got any marketing materials from Old Navy?
I've heard Old Navy's back. Did you get any mail that can tell me if they're back?
The quality is good. Gap is. Wait, are they still owned by Gap?
I think they're still together. I think Old Navy branched off in some way because they had become the bigger brand.
But for some reason, you know how you like have in your mind, you're like, oh, I know Anthropologie, Urban Outfitter. I know like some of these like families, and I know Gap is Gap, Banana Republic, Banana Republic, Old Navy, and Gap are one.
And then like there's some others like the sportswear, like
something like that. And then under that is also Pottery Barn?
At the time. Well, I don't know if they had that whole portfolio in 1984.
Okay. This is really
they bought it in 84,
stuff.
So I don't know. I don't even, Old Navy probably, they came out, I think Old Navy came out in 92 or 94.
That was like maybe mid, even maybe later 90s.
So that wasn't there yet.
Pottery Barn is now, is it affiliated with like Restoration Hardware? Are they like, they're always next to each other.
I like
I'm just
that
so excited.
People are like, do they know what they're talking about?
I want to walk around a Pottery Barn so bad right now.
Let me just tell you, in my research, the next sentence will tell you who.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'll be patient. I'm just so excited.
So the Gap grows it to 27 stores. So they double it plus a store. But they only had it for 2 years. And they're like, you know, a store like the Gap, they're going to try something. If it's not what they need, move on.
Cut them loose.
2 years later, they sell it to Williams-Sonoma.
There we are. Okay.
Which, if you're not familiar, is an upscale kitchen store for $6 million.
So even you saying Williams-Sonoma, the stress leaves my body. I feel happy. I feel optimistic.
I'm thinking $36 seasonal jelly beans that come in like a lucite box.
I'm seeing a jar of apple butter. I'm seeing
expensive $18 apple butter.
I'm seeing a crock, some like a Dutch oven. They used to Williams-Sonoma. It was like they would give you free samples of like little toast and like garlic oil. They would have I
could see them doing something not great. Like, here, you can have a sip of olive oil.
The scent would be wafting through the mall. You follow your nose like Pepe Le Pew.
Oh.
And it is they have like a stove at the register with like a simmering pot of like garlicky olive oil and cubed French bread. And you're 12, you just went to Bath and Body Works, you just peeping at dildos at Spencer's. And you have a cube of French bread and like some garlic olive oil. And it is just like, it's one of those things where you're like, I need this life. I know I'm 12, but like whatever I need to do to have my life look like this with the aprons and the tablecloths and the Crocs, I need it.
They were really planting the seed.
They're so good.
You know what would have been good to wash that cube of bread down with?
What?
Some Minute Maid zero sugar fruit punch.
I'll be shocked if this is not what's on brand for you this week in the next episode we record.
Now it comes in 1.6 quart bottles.
I love that. Wow. So this is cool. The Pottery Barn Williams-Sonoma. This is a really cool partnership.
That relationship exists to this day. So they bought it in 86. They've now had it for 30 years.
There's some good synergy there.
16, 40 years. Jesus
crazy.
Christ. How's time? I'm one of those people that's still like, someone says 1990. I'm like, 15 years ago?
Same,
No, babe, that was
10 years ago. Yeah. I'm still on Y2K.
Yeah, I know.
That is really exciting. Yeah.
Okay, so it's a good match, but I gotta say, I don't love everything. One of the first things that Williams-Sonoma does, scrub Pottery Barn's history.
What do you mean?
The brothers are no longer mentioned.
Why?
I encourage everyone, once you get back on the road and get to work, go to potterybarn.com and
your boss is like, can you send me that report? You're like, yes, I'm on it right now. open a new tab, potterybarn.com/about us.
No, I think it's called, I'm going to go
Our story.
You know what? You don't even have to do it because I'm going to do it for you.
Okay, you do it.
Because I was like, oh, that would be interesting to see. Like,
Revisionist history. Wild.
this is Pottery Barn's official statement on their story.
Okay.
For over 70 years, Pottery Barn has represented exceptional quality and unparalleled value. A member of the Williams-Sonoma Family Incorporated family of brands. Our home is in San Francisco, but our site, catalog, and stores reach around the world. That's their story. Not like we like scrapped and scraped in New York City in a rat-filled place.
How are you not having like a black and white photo of like the long interior New York space with the stacks of pots? How are you not having the barn? The barn.
How do you not have the barn? How do you not have Glidden? How do you not have any of it? The brothers.
Because this is such effective, evocative marketing. It takes something that you could see as just being like, I don't know, corporate crumbs all piled together to make like an idea into like something with soul and history. Like, why would you squander that? That's so important.
It's like, and for me, it would be like you would have a picture of June and be like,
Yes.
it took one woman's discerning eye in 1949 in a yard sale to create everything that you are experiencing now.
I love learning about that.
Not
if
like
I go to a
part
place,
of the Williams-Sonoma Incorporation of Family of Brands.
Don't put ink.
Don't put ink in your... No one's story has ink in it.
No. Oh, no.
Except a squid. Except a squid.
Unless you're a squid, get ink out of your About Me, okay? We need to really, I'm going to write to them.
Yeah.
The fact that you had to like scour, you had to like go to the metaphorical microfiche to find this.
Yeah.
This isn't even in like
it's
public
in Wiki.
knowledge.
Some of it's in Wiki.
It just should be like, they should be owning it. I'm really confused.
Yeah.
Did one of them like turn out to be like a neo-Nazi or something and they're trying to like scrub the history?
No,
What is
they
happening?
ended up growing very old, moving into retirement
Beautiful
homes.
life.
One of them dies at 90.
Fantastic legacy.
They make jokes like, oh, shit, would have been nice if we like got rich too. But they're not like mad. They're just like, look.
Wow.
It's very sad. So
Very
that is a Hazinga, a major Hazinga on Williams-Sonoma.
Same. Pottery Barn.
If you don't know what a Hazinga is, go listen to the Blockbuster episode. 1987. Now, Williams-Sonoma at the time, if you didn't know, they were already deep in catalogs. They were in the catalog game. This is why Pottery Barn has a catalog.
Interesting.
So only a year after they buy them, they start the first Pottery Barn catalog. I have a note here to talk about my greatest regret in life. I've already done that, throwing out 20 years of Pottery Barn catalogs. A virtual library of catalogs.
Yeah.
I know you say get over it. That's what the storage unit would have been for.
Honestly, yes. There are a lot of things that I think would be a better use. Like if you're thinking of just square footage, there's 3 Peeps. How many magazines could fit in the square footage of 3 Peeps?
2 of those Peeps are still at home.
In your bed?
One in the bed. Wasn't
One's
getting
on the couch holding the remote.
One's just to the side, holding the remote.
Set them up in little scenes around your home. Put them on the toilet with a newspaper.
Yeah.
Yeah, create a little fun for yourself.
Yeah, and then video it, and then post it. I'm supposed to be making more content this year.
That was your New Year's resolution, to be a content creator.
I know, I'm failing. I mean, we do 2 podcasts a week.
I think it counts.
But, I mean, that should count. And then, so Williams-Sonoma, I mean, they already had a bunch of stores, so they're going into this with, like, grow.
Love it.
By 1994, that's about the time Old Navy came out. Not really important, just giving you reference. 3 years before the movie Titanic comes out. Not important, just giving you reference.
Yes.
They started making their bigger stores with their design studios, which I love. I never used them. But this is like, so I started to read about this, and this is really when I think it was the heyday of this brand, the 90s and early 2000s.
Sure.
And we've talked about this a little bit before. This is like the time period where every homeowner, every renter was like kind of empowered to be their own interior decorator, interior designer, all the big brands, Ralph Lauren paint at Home Depot I always throw out there. Like everyone's giving you these tools for you to make all these decisions.
You're watching Paige Davis on Trading Spaces. You're thinking,
Exactly.
can I sponge paint my bathroom? Yes.
Should I cover my living room with hay? I guess. Unconventional. Everyone game night at the barn. That would be very barn.
Very barn.
Very barn.
The homeowner would say, like, well, what are your favorite brands, your design inspiration? I love Pottery Barn. And Hildy would go, great.
Hildy would bring in a live cow.
I'll see you on Monday.
See you on Monday.
Moo moo, cluck cluck.
I have $50. I drew. They would have Frank paint a cow on the wall.
Really deep cuts for fans of Trading Spaces, and I know they're loving it.
Someone, at least 15.
Somebody knows how Frank would always paint a little
Frank would
chicken
always
somewhere.
paint like a little like Cabbage Patch looking child behind the TV. God, if I went on that show and I got Frank, I would have been so mad.
Same.
Give me Hildy anytime. Or that redheaded one. She was the most
She was
sensible.
great.
Or the Asian
guy was he would do like a row of like when I think
Tea
of him,
lights.
I think a row of tea lights.
always had
4 tea lights about 8 inches apart. And I always remember even as a kid being like, he's safe.
He's a safe
Because the worst case scenario, it's like I don't love the vase, I don't love the whatever, but like at the very least, you're not getting like fake flowers hot glued to the wall of your steamy bathroom.
And even though I wouldn't want to do it, I kind of would. Here's my perfect scenario now. Get Hildy, let her know I like Peeps. Can you imagine what my house is going to look like?
Oh my God.
Hildy with that direction, I'm going to have bright pink and yellow bunnies everywhere.
We might have to do what people want us to do a watch along. We might have to watch along Trading Spaces.
could get into some 1998 Trading Spaces.
That'd be really
or
fun.
2006. I forget. Yeah, more like 2000.
2002. Yeah.
All right, so it's like the heyday. So like this is also like what we talk about ad nauseum with Starbucks and the Nora Jones CD. This is
Yes.
like Pottery Barn is like velvet. It is linen. It is beaded lampshades. It is quirky picture frames.
Yes.
It is.
I think almost like the set of Friends. I feel
I
like
literally have
Yay!
in my notes. It's like Central Perk on Friends.
yes, I feel like that Pottery Barn must have had a strong hand in designing that, or at the very least, like that aesthetic. Like, and even like Will and Grace, but like sitcoms of that time.
Yeah.
I feel like heavy influence of Pottery Barn, Pier 1, even adjacent. They were maybe a little more world. I would call it like world. You know what I mean? Like beads and medallions and African masks and things like that. But yeah, Pottery Barn was lush. It was inviting you to sit and stay a while, which is the opposite of a lot of design now.
And I'll say, having worked at Pottery Barn back in the day, the quality was better.
Yes,
If
I'm
you
sure.
bought wrought iron anything, a wrought iron curtain rods, wrought iron lantern holders, they were wrought iron.
Yes.
Now it's like curved metal that's been painted black. It's like such a different thing. It's like your mirror. It is like, I do think quality. Now, like I was thinking how ironic it is that this is a brand that started selling like chipped pottery. And now you go there and you'll see like,
Oh, your pottery's going to be chipped.
well, not even that. Okay. But they sell things and make it look like it's been chipped.
That's
like
interesting,
a very
yeah.
distressed vase that has like fake chips in it.
Fake aging. Yeah.
Fake paint coming off of it and stuff like
interesting.
that.
I'm almost compelled. I'm going to take a second because I feel compelled to find my correspondence with Pottery Barn. I'm sure it's in my Gmail. And I was just, this is how much customer service has changed also over the years, where it's like, we are so far from the customer is always right. Like light years.
I know.
That the fact that you don't even have empathy for somebody who is having an issue with your product is just beyond. It's beyond.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can pull this up. Okay, I found it. June 7th, 2016, 10:47 a.m. Subject line, vintage medicine cabinet. Message to support@potterybarn.com. Hello, I purchased the vintage medicine cabinet in antique bronze finish for my bathroom in March. My husband just went to clean it. I wanted to like align myself with like a strong male.
I'm not alone.
And he'll kill you if you don't remedy this. My husband just went to clean it with regular glass cleaner and the bronze finish wiped off with the first swipe. This is when I get a little... After paying so much for a medicine cabinet, I don't think being able to clean it is asking too much.
Wow, you went in hot.
Would you be able to replace the door for the medicine cabinet? Thank you for contacting Pottery Barn. Your email is important to us. Please allow 24 hours for our response. Sarah McCullough, I'm putting you on blast. Hello, Marissa. Thank you for taking the time to reach out to us today. I want to first sincerely apologize for the inconvenience this is causing. More than likely, the finish is coming off because it is being sprayed with a harsh cleaner. The mirror is okay to wipe with glass cleaner, but it should never be applied to the bronze finish, as the finish will either come off or dull. You want me...
Are you supposed to use painter's tape?
Painter's tape.
What are you supposed to do? They're touching each other.
You can see all care and cleaning instructions under the Dimensions and Care tab here, sending me a link. As a one-time exception... That's funny, I don't remember this.
I remember that.
As a one-time exception, I would be happy to offer you a replacement medicine cabinet. If you like, we can send a new medicine cabinet out to your home, and we will need to get the one you currently have returned. Please let me know how you would like to proceed. Again, I apologize for the inconvenience this is causing. So then why is my current one still peeling?
Because you used Windex again. This is the same person that keeps sending our Old Navy stuff to the wrong person. You literally like, oh, a new one, I'm going to clean it.
But that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I know.
Did I install it?
Yes.
You think I did?
This. Yes.
I installed the new one and then I f***ed it up again?
Yes.
No.
Just over time. There's no way. I mean, it's going to probably peel just from the steam in the bathroom. So we were talking about how like this was kind of the heyday. Another way that is obvious is because it started to show up in pop culture a lot. I don't know if you remember, there was a Seinfeld episode where Kramer was so mad at how many Pottery Barn catalogs he was being sent that he like collected them up in like a stack, and he goes to the store and like throws them back at him.
Your dream, a collection of Pottery Barn catalogs.
Oh my God, I know. I wish he had just brought them to my house.
Yeah.
I gotta replace that.
That episode is triggering.
I gotta put a note real quick to check eBay for vintage Pottery Barn catalogs. Lot. Mm-hmm. And then Friends, we were just talking about how this time period also reminds us of Friends. There's an iconic episode of Friends called The One with the Apothecary Table. I know you didn't watch Friends,
nope.
But there's an episode where...
Even just the word apothecary table feels very Pottery Barn.
Pottery Barn.
I don't think people even knew they wanted apothecary until Pottery Barn told them they did.
No. I could not tell. Also, again, I didn't do a ton of research on it. Some places say that this was official product placement, that Pottery Barn paid for this, but Pottery Barn has made a statement that we did not. But it seems very like heavy, like... I
mean, you couldn't even pay for that kind of advertising. I'm sure they sold a lot of those coffee tables afterwards.
My God. Well, and then years later, I think in like around 2019 or something, Pottery Barn came out with like a Friends collection. I think you could get like the frame for like, that they had hanging on their door and like silly little things like that.
That's genius.
So it was all synergy. And then I told you about the Simpsons one. So then we move into the 2000s, and it's kind of like becoming what we know today. In 2000, we've got Pottery Barn Kids hitting the scene. You have the Pottery Barn website showing up. 2003, you've got PB Teen, which I gotta say, has some cool stuff.
PB Teen, and there's some like a lamp or something I got from PB, like their lighting is really cool, and it's not like kid specific. I can't imagine a world where you're throwing down Pottery Barn cash for your teen's bedroom. But if like they have cool funky light fixtures, the style is a little bit different. Was Pottery Barn where you were getting your crib blankets, or was that Crate and Barrel?
Crate and Barrel.
Okay.
Yeah, they had a collab with an artist that I like. But even through Pottery Barn Teen, then they had a side shoot, which is still around because I looked it up yesterday, Pottery Barn Dorm.
Ooh,
for
fun.
People that are moving into college. Like they all kind of make sense.
Yeah.
In 2006, they had Pottery Barn Bed and Bath. That seems to no longer be around. I think that maybe had gotten too niche.
Was it like towels or was it like body wash?
I think towels. I think it was all just focused on like sheets and towels and stuff for the bed and bath. And then they had Pottery Barn Apartment, which was focused on smaller size spaces because that kind of became the trend that more people were looking for instead of these grand homes like these.
It's like a giant couch, more of like an apartment size couch and things like that. Yeah.
And now that doesn't seem to be like a specific name of a brand that they have, but it still seems to be a focus. Like, because I think there's a tab on their websites that's like 4 small spaces.
Yeah, that's great.
And then they started doing collabs. Like I think you said you had some Sesame Street sheets. They started doing collabs with like Star Wars and Hello Kitty. This is like the teen and kids stuff, which is, very common.
I find that their licensed stuff, it's more kind of, I guess you'd say tasteful than what you'd get just like at a Target or Walmart, like with like the branded stuff is really loud and flashy. I'd say it's more like subdued. So if you need a compromise with your kid who really wants like, Barbie sheets. It's going to be a little bit more tasteful.
I definitely have bought, I think the only thing I can think of that I bought that was a Pottery Barn collab was I bought a
What?
golden snitch clock, like a Harry Potter golden snitch clock. It's like a little ball with wings on it, which I don't even think I've ever taken out of the box.
I'm going to say, where is this?
Now I can't even picture where it's at anymore. I need to find my golden snitch.
I think it's probably in the unit.
And then the dumbest thing I ever bought was from Williams-Sonoma. Not the dumbest thing, but for this app. Star Wars pancake molds. You know how dumb those are? You just make a pancake that's the silhouette of Yoda. It's just like it's just a round pancake with like 2 ears. Like, unless you're...
Well, and also do you make pancakes?
No.
I mean, the point of that is for like when you were wrapping up, did they say, "Oh, how old is your son turning?" Is this like for his 8th birthday, the morning you want to make him some special Star Wars pancakes? How old is your son turning?
He actually passed away when he was 5, but I make these every year just to remember him.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. You know what? They're on the house.
Perfect. That's my ideal transaction at Williams-Sonoma.
Great.
Yes, I know. It doesn't make any sense. I don't make pancakes. And
even if you did, do you care about that big shit? That feels like clearance. That feels like that was on sale.
Definitely was on clearance.
Yeah.
Definitely on. And they're just like the shape. It's like, it's not like a cookie. Even like cookie cutters, I think, are so stupid because I'm never going to be the person that decorates the cookie to look like the thing.
And yet, do you have cookie cutters?
Yeah.
How many?
Enough. So then it's like by 2019, and this kind of goes with what you were saying at the beginning of the show, an article came out suggesting that Pottery Barn's really kind of fading from the conversation. Their sales were down. They're still in the billions. I mean, I always kind of laugh when they're like, our sales are down. We only made $4 billion last year.
Right, sure. It's like compared to like years prior.
Yeah, it's like unless it's growing every year, they get disappointed by it. But it's like so many people are struggling to buy homes anymore, let alone like have a home that looks like an old lodge or a plantation space or like that shabby chic.
A wizard's attic.
Yeah.
A chest of drawers with like 100 little 2-inch drawers with wooden knobs.
Which I do love, but you always forget what's in them. It's like, where did I put the matches? And then I'm opening like 16 drawers to find them. Yeah. So I think, this whole like stepping out of the conversation thing feels like accurate. Like, yes. I think Pottery Barn now owns like West Elm, and I think a lot more people are into like modern furnishings too. Mm-hmm. There's just a lot more competition. It just makes sense. They're a staple. They're around. They'll probably stay around.
They have these huge stores where there's a lot of these like online only retailers for like couches and stuff like that, which that's a gamble. Something you're going to sit on every day and you're not practicing. You're not taking it for a test drive.
Yeah.
That's tough. But yeah, you have to lease like a giant store space that's like, 20,000 square feet. So it's a different model. And we'll see. We'll see. Enough kids from this generation are going to be burned by bad furniture purchases online. Yeah. They saw a picture of a couch. They paid $400 for it. The pendulum might swing and go, you know what? Maybe I need to have that in-store experience for furniture more so than anything else, maybe.
Yeah, I could see it swinging back. Unfortunately, I do think that the quality is shit.
It's a bummer.
And I haven't bought I haven't bought furniture there. I don't know what that's like, but I feel like it's like, people are like, it's like you're paying $2,500 for like pressed wood. It's not even like, it's like.
It's all IKEA.
Yeah, it's fancier looking IKEA furniture. It's not like handcrafted wood things.
For sure.
In my opinion.
No, you're absolutely right.
Well, that's pretty much all I have for Pottery Barn. I do have one, for me, was a crazy fun fact.
Okay.
For maybe nobody else, it will be. But Paul, who we've talked about, who ran it all, really made it all happen, left for music, he had a son in 1980 who he named Lucas. And in 1994, Lucas had a hit song called Lucas with the Lid Off. This was a song that I used to listen to.
What?
And I was like, wait, that can't be the song that I'm thinking of. And
you had no idea that it had ties to such an iconic brand.
No.
Okay.
And it's like, he's like a rapper kid. Like, but it's like not, I don't know, it's like silly rap.
So wait, what year is this?
This is 1994.
Okay.
And I'm going about 45 seconds in. The beginning is so fun, but it just takes so long to build up.
Sure, listen to it on your own time.
Yeah. Does this sound familiar at all?
No, but this is like a summertime banger. This might be the song of summer.
I mean, I remember like that was just
That's
such...
like top down, hot day, grooving, school's
Yeah,
out.
it's like a mesh of, it's so of that time
Yeah.
period, like meshing like bluesy with
Sure.
jazzy, with rappy, with all that stuff. And
Right.
I was like, that's Paul's son?
Well, music was in their blood.
Oh, so awesome. It really
great.
was. That's what I thought too. So there you
cool.
go. That's Pottery Barn. I personally learned so many things I had no idea about. I'm curious if some of like the Doughboy boys will like click on this episode because I picture a lot of them like Pottery Barn.
Pottery Barn.
But if they did, I hope they learned
It
something.
might not be stirring in their loins the same way it does for you and me, but that's okay. We'll get Under Armour for them next week.
You have to do
Now
bras.
I have to do Under Armour.
Yeah. Or Jersey Mike's. They like to eat too.
That's true. I'll do Jersey Mike's
They'll
coming
be
up.
happy. Oh, now we have to learn about Jersey Mike's. Okay, so now you know. I mean, I feel like I probably know, but would you say with everything you've now learned is you have had bad experiences? There is
Not as bad as I remember, but yes.
there is a wrapper involved that you didn't know about. There's expensive items. Is Pottery Barn on brand or off brand for you?
This is the magic of this show. I'm more into Pottery Barn now than ever, just from spending this time going on this ride with you. I'm confused why they're not using this lore and this rich tapestry of history in any of their personal branding. But for me, I'm going to say this is on brand for me.
I love it. You know, I'm going to say the same thing. It's on brand for me just because it's super nostalgic. And any brand that is nostalgic for me will probably stay on brand for me.
Sure.
I'm sure I will find myself there buying something at some point. It is a place, I don't know if we've talked about it, how bad I am about using
Like gift cards?
gift cards.
Yeah.
It's a place where I have paper gift cards for. I tried to use, I think I told that story before. I basically looked like a certificate you got for like graduating a cooking class. It was like, you have $100 to spend at Pottery Barn on like a scroll. And I took it in there. I was like, I'm finally going to use it. And then I took it in there and they had no idea how to process it.
Yeah.
And they're like, you just have to buy it and we'll send this to corporate and they'll send you a card later. So I now have like
Is this where you got your fur? Was Pottery Barn one of your fur places? Where
Crate
was
and
that?
Barrel.
Crate and Barrel. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I feel, more inclined to Crate and Barrel now because I think I do have more of a modern
edge.
aesthetic.
Yeah, sure.
But
But
yeah.
I'm sure the furs, I could see Pottery Barn having very, very buttery throws and like sumptuous furs.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
Okay, and before we go, of course, we have to give our shout outs to our Freaks of the Week. This was for the Mr. Clean Insta Egg, which just had a picture of Mr. Clean's buff arms. I'm sure it made a lot of people very excited. And Mr. Clean in a scramble. And the people that got it correct and our Freaks of the Week are Brownski, Stephanie/Shanks Homestead, Gina, Brian Koval, and Lauren. So congratulations. Thank you for playing the Instag. If you're not familiar, on our Instagram story every Wednesday, I post a puzzle. If you solve it, you'll know what our brand is going to be that week, and your name will get added to our Wheel of Freaks, which we will spin 5 times. And you can be one of our 5 Freaks of the Week. And also check out our Instagram because every week we post a package of supplemental photos and ads and fonts and stuff for the episode that we did the week prior. And it just gives you a little more insight into the brand. So be sure to check out everything that we offer on Instagram.
And while we're giving shout outs, I'd like to shout out some lovely listeners who've left us reviews on Apple Podcasts, starting with Madeline Not Line, or Madeline Not Lean. She says, okay. Whenever you say okay, it makes me laugh. Needless to say, the rest of the pod makes me laugh harder. Love listening. Tim and Clovis said, fun listen. Not sure why there's no H and Jon or double S and Marissa, but I sure am in for a good time each week listening to On Brand. 2 friends who obviously care about each other. I always feel better having listened. That's his takeaway, is that we really do care about each other.
Aww,
That's so sweet.
We really do care.
If you haven't left a review on Apple Podcasts, please head over there and do that. If you leave a review somewhere else, I do appreciate it, but I won't know how to find it or how to read it. So it has to be Apple to get the shout out. At On Brand the Pod on TikTok, at On Brand the Podcast on Instagram to play the Insta Egg game. And with that, we'll be back next week with an all new episode.
And remember, we may go off topic, but we will always be on brand.
Bye.
Bye.
With so many options, Why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.